Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you are a brand new viewer. My name is Diamond, aka Lady Leo, and welcome to my holiday series. I'm going to be doing holiday themed videos all month, and I'm going to have a series of shorts, 7 days of Christmas, that are going to be coming out during the week of Christmas. So those will start like the 19th and go to the 25th as well. So make sure to stay tuned for all of my holiday themed videos. We're going to be starting with some Reddit themed holidays. I went and I screenshotted to see if I could find some holiday related Reddit posts. I did find some, so we're going to be doing a few of those, talking about them. I really love doing Reddits. For you won't have known this because I have some pre-recorded content, but I haven't filmed a Reddit video in a while, so I'm excited. Really quickly before we get started, if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button if you like this video, it does help me out. It doesn't cost you anything. Let's get started with our first story. Okay, so the first one we have here, am I the asshole for refusing to pay for a shared holiday with family that I am no longer attending? Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for a shared holiday with family that I'm no longer attending? Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Okay. I thought it was like, you're not attending the family? I get it. You're no longer going on the holiday, so got it. Okay, so our family has been growing, and since last year, we started booking a holiday home in the countryside just before Christmas so we could all spend time together before celebrating separately with our own smaller families. That's very nice. Anyway, most of us live in small city apartments, so there's no space to host everyone. The house we rent is quite expensive but spacious, with a sauna, fireplace, and a chef's kitchen. Is that different than a normal kitchen? I'm just genuinely curious. Like, you put chef's kitchen, so I'm just wondering, is that different than a normal kitchen? Anyway, perfect for a Christmas getaway. Each family has their own room with an ensuite. Does that mean a bathroom? I think that means a bathroom. Anyway, this year we booked the same house right after last year's stay and made the down payment at the beginning of the year. In May, I informed my family that we, my husband, kids, and I, are moving overseas in September. My cousin and her partner, who are expecting a baby, also decided not to go. Her parents said they'd cover her share of the cost. Now my sister is asking me to pay for my share, saying it's unfair for the rest of them to cover the extra cost. Dividing it among the others would only be about 15 more each, but my sister thinks it's unfair for my cousin's parents to pay for our share as well. Huh? They're not going. And they gave you plenty of time. You want her to pay and not actually be there? Anyway, I'm really torn. Should I just I'm really torn. Should I just pay to keep the peace? I'm upset because this feels unfair, especially since we're on a tight on money after the big move. Wait a minute, I thought you said you were moving. Okay, sorry. You're upset because this feels unfair after the big move. Are moving overseas in September. So you haven't moved, or you have? It says you're tight on money after the big move, but I thought you're not moving till September, and you informed them in May. I don't know, maybe I read something wrong. It's also hard to communicate with my family now that we're on the other side of the world. So you did move. So, okay, so this is supposed to say that you did move. Okay. Anyway, since we're on this side of the world, though we may have through some things, being distant from my family, drama can be a relief. I miss them all and want to do right by them, but I can't help by feeling this isn't fair. So I know it says right here that there's not enough info. I think I kind of feel that way too, because I'm thinking to myself a couple of things. I thought the way that I read this, it says that you made the down payment at the beginning of the year. In May, you informed them that you're moving overseas in September. So I don't really know what time this is taking place, right? Like, my mind is telling me that it's sometime after May, right? But then a little bit further down in the post, you said that you've already moved overseas, and this is something that you do for the holidays, and you moved in September. So I am assuming that you put your down payment down at the beginning of the year. And just for argument's sake, we're just going to say this is 2024 to just help me logistically with the dates. So let's just say you put a down payment in January of 2024. In May, you told the family, we're moving overseas in September of 2024. So in September, you move overseas. I don't hear anything from you that's acknowledging that you're just not going to be going. I mean, it sounds like you made that decision, but I don't hear you communicating that to them. So if it's a situation where, let's say I know you said you take this trip during the holidays, but it doesn't say specifically when. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you take this trip the last weekend in, sorry. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you take this trip the last weekend in November. So I'm wondering, did you communicate to them that, hey, not only are we moving overseas, just didn't think it was going to be possible considering that you're living overseas, you just moved, so all of that's expensive. I would say that if you didn't tell them that until like November and you're like, hey, I can't really go and I'm not going to pay for the rest of it, yeah, that's a little bit of a dick move to do. It's not a lot of time for them to fill the space for somebody else. Plus, you said the house that you guys normally rent is really expensive. So I know your sister said it's only $15 more, but it is a little bit more of the principle of it. So yeah, I would be curious to know, like, what you said to them. Like, did you make them aware, hey, I'm not sure if I'm going to go? Because if you made them aware in May, that's a different story. That's a lot of time for them to like figure out. Maybe they could have picked like a cheaper house to rent as opposed to the one that you guys normally rent, especially if your family's not going, and then you said your cousin's family isn't going. So like they wouldn't need as much space. But if you didn't tell them that until November and they're at the point where it's like not refundable, yeah, that could be a little bit of an asshole thing to do. So I'm kind of with, the consensus that I just don't think there's enough information to determine if you're the asshole. I think there's some things that you're leaving out. I don't know if that's intentionally or you just didn't think they were important, but I just don't think there's enough information for me to kind of like make an executive decision. All right, moving on to the next one. Am I the asshole for telling my friends I can't afford to split holiday costs equally and that I'll only pay for the activities I can budget for? Offhand, it doesn't sound like you are from that. And I know it already says not the asshole, but let's just kind of go through and make my own decision. A few friends and I are planning a holiday trip together. We've been talking about all the activities we want to do, but some of the options are really expensive, like fancy dinners and guided tours. Since my budget is a lot tighter than theirs, I told them I'd love to join, but I would only be able to pay for the activities that would fit within my budget rather than splitting all the costs equally. I think that's very reasonable. This didn't go over well with a couple of friends. They feel like splitting everything equally is just what friends do. Hang on a minute. We're not talking about like going out to dinner. And even if we were, if somebody's going to sit there and have like Don Perignon and like top of the line steak, and I'm going to have something that is like chicken, something that's like, half the price, that's not equivalent. So if you have people that want to do incredibly expensive activities that are like hundreds of dollars, yeah, no, that's just what friends do. I wouldn't necessarily say that's what friends do. I think it depends on the friends. Like when I go out with my friends and we do split things equally, it depends on if we're all eating different things. Like, are we all eating from that? And we have that conversation ahead of time, right? Like if I'm going to be ordering 4 or 5 things, I don't expect for us to split it equally, especially if she's going to order one thing. So I don't think this is a general consensus. I think it really depends on your friend group, and it depends on what you're buying and like, is everybody partaking in it? Anyway, and that it's awkward if I go off to do my own thing for cheaper options while they stick to the pricier plans. It's not really awkward. I mean, I feel like people have this misconception that like when you go on a trip with your family or your friends, you have to spend like every waking moment together. I mean, maybe some people do like to do that. I don't. Like when I travel with my family, I love you. Like I want to spend time with you. I want to do events with you, but I also want to take some time to just like decompress on my own. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that's a bad thing to just be like, hey, you guys want to go do this $500 a person excursion. I'm going to go over here and not do that because I don't have money like that. Anyway, so one friend even said that if I'm not willing to split everything evenly, I should reconsider going on the trip. Whoa. It sounds like they built it into their budget that they wanted to do all these things, and they were anticipating that they would be able to split it 3 ways, which is probably maybe the only way they can afford it. I'm not sure. But anyway, it says, now I'm wondering if I'm being unreasonable by setting a boundary about what I can afford. Am I the asshole for telling my friends I won't be able to split all the costs equally? No. I don't think you're the asshole. I think you're very reasonable. And I think you're incredibly reasonable to tell them up front as opposed to like not saying anything until you get there. You're saying, hey, I want to go on the trip. It sounds fun. However, I just can't really afford to do X, Y, and Z. So I can do maybe one thing, or maybe I'll do some other things while you do this. I'm not sure. Again, I think that would just, I feel like it depends on your friend group. And if your friend is like, if you're not going to split everything evenly, you shouldn't consider going on the trip. Maybe you should reconsider your friendship with them. Cause I'd be curious to know, is that the consensus when you guys go out? Like if you go out to dinner for like a special occasion, and do you typically split things 3 ways or however many people are in the friend group? I'm sorry. I'm assuming it's 3 people, but it could be more than that. But no, I don't think you're the asshole at all. I think you've been very reasonable and no, not the asshole at all. Okay. Am I the asshole for talking to people while on holiday? I can see it says asshole already, but I'm going to reserve my judgment until I read it myself. But my first instinct is, do you mean like romantically, or you're trying to sleep with people on holiday? I don't know though, so let me get into it. My girlfriend and I are currently on holiday. We've picked up a small hotel on an island so we can have a chilled week. Apart from a tour of the island, we just plan to spend out time relaxing by the pool, in the hotel, or going to the beach, or looking around the local market. On our second night here, I think that's supposed to be like another couple were sat at the table next to us at the hotel bar. My girlfriend went to the toilet, and the woman and the other couple was at the bar. The man from the couple next to us introduced himself and asked how the holiday was going. He was just making small talk and then offered to get my girlfriend and I our next drink. I accepted the offer and thanked him, and then said I'd get the following round. When my girlfriend got back, he introduced himself to her and introduced his girlfriend to us. We spent most of the evening chatting and drinking, and I thought it was a nice night. When we got back to the room, my girlfriend was annoyed. She said we've wasted a night here now since we're supposed to be here to relax. I pointed out that we can still relax while being polite and talking to other people. I'm sorry, she mad that you were just having a conversation with some stranger? Okay, I'm sorry, I'll just finish reading. She said I should have refused the offer for a drink and moved somewhere else, or just apologized and said we wanted the evening to just be us. Okay. I just said that I didn't want to do that as I was enjoying chatting to the couple, and that there's nothing wrong with talking to other people. She just said the holiday was supposed to be for us, and I wasted a night talking to other people. Am I the asshole for talking to people on holiday? People said he was the asshole. Really? I guess I have a difference of opinion here. At first, I thought this was some kind of cheating situation, like where you were going on a holiday without your partner and you were talking to other people, but that's not the case. She went to the bathroom, another couple sat down, you struck up a conversation, they bought you a round of drinks, you wanted to return the favor, and you were having a conversation with them. It's just, I don't really understand the problem. I mean, it seems like she's annoyed that you wanted to spend time talking to this couple instead of like exclusively to her. I think this is a big difference like in personality for me, because even if I'm in a relationship, I'm not the type of person who's like, you know what, we have to spend every single second together, every second of every moment. But at the same time, I'm not a naturally social person. So if I came back from the bathroom and my partner had been like, hey, we're just talking to this couple, I'd make polite conversation. I don't know if it would annoy me. It would really depend on like the conversation, whether or not I liked the couple. So yeah, but I mean, nothing nefarious going on. She's just like, you wasted an evening that we could have been relaxing together alone. I mean, to me, I don't think he's the asshole, but I guess it depends on like what people were saying in the comments. But I don't know. It's kind of strange to me. I don't really feel like he is the asshole. I don't think he's doing anything nefarious. He was just striking up a general conversation with some other couple. It's not like, sorry, while I was reading it, I was like, is this going to like, are we going to go into swinging territory? It's nothing like that. So, no, I don't really think you're the asshole. So, I mean, maybe I'm in the minority there, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal to me personally. All right, next one. We've got one more after this one. I don't want to make it too long. All right. Am I the asshole for not refusing to go over my holiday budget? No. I I have a sister-in-law who likes to take over the holidays. Usually I don't care. I just kind of go with the flow. Every year we usually pitch in together and get my husband's parents a gift for Christmas from all of us. This year my sister-in-law pretty much decided their gift on her own and then came to us saying that our share was $300. Whoa. So your sister-in-law, so $600 for something? That's a lot of money for us. I think it's a lot of money for a gift in general. I love my in-laws, and if I could financially do it, I would buy them anything they wanted. I don't spend that much on my family, even though I would love to. After getting for the kids, the money just isn't there if we want to eat and pay the bills, which is reasonable. I feel so much stress and anxiety this time of year. I dread the holidays now. I also feel guilty for saying no, and needless to say, I'm not very popular right now. My husband thinks it's a bit much as well, but I am the bad guy. What is the appropriate amount for a gift? Am I the asshole? Should I just give in and scrape up the money? First off, you're not the asshole. You have to deal with things that are needs first, not wants. And you sound like you have your life budgeted and you've already figured out that $300 is not feasible. Second of all, your sister-in-law did not come to you collaboratively and say, I want to get my parents this, because this is her parents, your sister-in-law's parents, so your in-laws, yeah. And this is how much it's going to cost. She's just like, oh, I'm deciding to do this and this is how much it costs. You can't do that when not everybody's on the same financial level. And to be honest, it's not really something you should do anyway, because, maybe you wanted to get them their own gift. Also, to me, this is just very interesting because my family and my immediate family, we don't buy gifts for each other. I get gifts for my niece and nephew, and I'll ask my sister what she wants for her birthday. It's usually something very small. This year she asked me for a kettlebell, and I was like, sure, whatever you want, sis. But my family and I, we don't buy gifts for birthdays, for Christmas, for Mother's Day. I wish my parents happy Mother's Day and Father's Day, but we just don't buy gifts. Our gift is that we spend time together, that we see each other, we talk to each other, and that's kind of what we need. So yeah, I don't think in any way that you're being the asshole. I think it's very unreasonable to decide that you're going to get your own parents a very expensive gift and then to expect someone else to just be able to afford that right off the bat. And again, she didn't have a conversation with you about what she was getting. She's just like, we're doing this and this is how much it costs. If she wants that, she should pay for it herself. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. She can't assume that everybody is on her level. And I know $300 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it is a lot of money. Everything's subjective. So no, I don't think you're the asshole. All right, the last holiday one. Am I the asshole for expecting my kids to attend all family holidays? I mean, I guess it depends on where your kids live and what they have going on in their life, but let me see. So I am a 52-year-old male and never had a big family unit growing up. My dad bailed when I was a baby, and it was just my mom and I after that. I was often jealous of friends who had big family celebrations. My wife and I have 3 children, Alice, who's a 27-year-old female, Jeff, who's a 24-year-old male, and Kevin, who is a 22-year-old male. Fake names, got it. I always thought my kids would spend all holidays with us because I always stressed how important it was to me to have all of them home with me. I did a Zoom call with the 3 yesterday, and they broke the news to me that none of them would be coming home for Thanksgiving. I got upset, and Alice interrupted me to remind me that she and Jeff worked in fields. That she and Jeff worked in fields and that they would sometimes have to work the holidays. She's an X-ray technician in a hospital and Jeff is a dispatcher for 911. Both of those are shift positions as far as I understand it. And the 911 dispatcher, it's a necessary position in the sense that somebody always has to be there. And that she was married now and she knew I wanted us all home for every holiday, but that just wasn't realistic. I mean, it isn't realistic. I mean, when your children are within your house and they're younger, yes, they will always be there. But as your children get older and they have families of their own, or they just move to different, cities, states, countries, and they have other things going on in their life, it's not always feasible to be home for the holidays. I asked Kevin what his excuse was, and he said he was just going to stay with his girlfriend because she just has surgery and he wanted to take care of her. That's reasonable. I said they need to get their priorities straight and they knew it was important to their mother and I that they attend. Jeff said that my wife understood and that I was the one constantly trying to guilt trip them into rearranging their lives to make me happy, and he hated that I refused to let them live their lives without trying to guilt trip them into doing what I want. Alice said that it wasn't up for discussion and that I could either accept that they won't always be there, or I could celebrate without her from here on out because she was done dealing with me trying to make her feel guilty for having a life. They disconnected after that. I'm very upset and I think I deserve more respect than this, but my wife says it's unreasonable to think that the kids would always come home, and just because I want something didn't mean I was going to happen, and I need to stop acting like an asshole to get my way. I don't think I am, but I'll put it out here. Am I the asshole for wanting my kids to be home for the holidays? So I think there's two things. You're asking if you are an asshole for wanting that. No, I don't think you're an asshole for wanting your children to be home with you during the holidays. You are an asshole for expecting them to be home for every single holiday. Now, you said to attend all family holidays. I don't know what that means. I mean, do you celebrate, the Valentine's Day? Are you just talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas? Also, your children have their own lives. And second of all, do they live in the same state as you? Is it feasible for them to come home for the holidays every time? And not only that, if your children have partners, those partners have their own families, so they might want to switch off. Maybe they do a thing where maybe they go to their partners for Thanksgiving, or they come to your house for Christmas, etc., or switch off holidays. You never know, but I think it is pretty unreasonable to expect that your children will be able to be home at your house physically for every holiday. And I know why you want them there. It comes from, how you grew up, and you have this family unit now. So you have the idealized version of what it's like to have a big family, and you want to have that all the time. Things change, and that's okay. Things don't always remain the same, especially where kids are involved. Yeah, I think it's pretty unreasonable to expect that. Your children don't have jobs that allow them to even be off every holiday, let alone physically come home. And I feel like a part of them not wanting to come home probably stems from this. They don't even want to have the conversation with you because you're just so unreasonable about it. So yeah, I think you are the asshole for expecting them to attend every family event. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting your children home for the holidays. You just have to understand, as we grow older as children, we have our own lives and our own priorities. Do we love our parents? I do, but in my situation, I can't always be home for the holidays. So my sister and my brother-in-law, they live in Arizona now. They used to live here. So we don't see them for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Sometimes they do come home, but sometimes they don't. And we'll usually talk to them maybe for like an hour or so. And that's okay, So yeah, I think you are the asshole for having this. You have a demand. It's not even an expectation. It's a demand of your children. And then when they give you like reasonable, reasons for why they can't do it, you're just like, no, you should be home. You need to be home. That's a bit intense and a bit much, but I don't think it's wrong for you to want your children there. I just think you have to understand that it just doesn't work like that once children become adults. You don't have that type of control over your children. And what you're doing will probably create this rift with all of them where they won't even want to come home because of this, this, how much you get around that. So if I were you, I'd be careful. Well, those are all of the holiday Reddit ones that I'm going to do. So the next video on the docket should be the 7 days of Christmas, if I'm planning this out right. Yeah, it'll be the 7 days of Christmas nail shorts. So make sure you give those a watch. I'll be doing one of those every day leading up to Christmas. And then I'll be doing Wonka for my last holiday themed video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun watching it. Like, comment, subscribe. That's my time. Catch you later. Bye.